Tesla isn't early anymore, it's already finished. The only thing holding it back right now is regulation. If you're a Tesla investor, this is one of the most important things to understand today, because what I'm going to show you in this video is simple but extremely powerful. Tesla's biggest growth phase hasn't even started yet. Not because the technology isn't ready, but because the world hasn't caught up to it. And once that changes, the entire narrative around Tesla could shift very quickly. Let's start with the core idea. Most people still think Tesla is a company in progress. Still building, still developing, still figuring things out. But if you look closely, that's no longer true. Tesla already has almost everything in place. The AI is nearly complete. The infrastructure is already deployed. The energy strategy is scaling. So what's missing? Just one thing: permission. Let's talk about regulation, because this is where everything starts to move. For years, Tesla has been surrounded by one major concern: safety. And one of the biggest narratives was sudden unintended acceleration. This was used again and again to question Tesla's reliability, to slow down adoption, and to create doubt among investors. But now, something very important has happened. The NHTSA, the US regulator, has officially closed its investigation. Over 2 million vehicles were reviewed, and the conclusion: no recall required. This is not just a headline. This removes a major overhang. A key piece of uncertainty is gone, and more importantly, it signals something deeper. Regulators are starting to trust the system, because this wasn't just about acceleration. This was about whether Tesla's software-driven vehicle architecture can be trusted at scale. And now, one of the biggest questions has been answered, but the more important regulatory shift is happening in Europe. Right now, Tesla's full self-driving is already active in the US, but in Europe, it's been held back. Not because it doesn't work, but because it hasn't been approved. And that may be about to change. Approval in the Netherlands is expected soon. And if that happens, it could unlock expansion across the EU. This is where things get really interesting, because it reveals something most people misunderstand. FSD was never a technology problem. It was always a legal problem. The capability exists, the data exists, the system works, but until regulators say yes, it can't scale. And the moment it changes, everything changes. FSD stops being a feature and becomes a business, a real, scalable, high-margin software platform. Now let's talk about the technology itself, because Tesla isn't just waiting, it's still improving. The next major step is FSD version 14.3. And what's important here is not just incremental improvement, it's a shift in how the system thinks. Until now, autonomous driving has mostly been reactive. See something, respond to it. But what Tesla is building now is different. It's moving toward decision making. Think about how humans drive. We don't just react, we predict. We read intent. We understand behavior. If a car is about to cut in, we don't wait for it. We anticipate it. That's what Tesla is now teaching its AI to do. This is not just better driving, this is intelligence. And once you reach that level, something else becomes possible. Robotaxi at scale. This is the moment where the narrative shifts again, because Robotaxi is no longer a distant idea. It becomes a deployment question, not if it works, but how fast can it spread? So how did Tesla get here? This is where strategy matters, because Tesla is not just building a car, and it's not just building AI, it's building the entire stack. Let's start with energy. Tesla is investing billions into solar and targeting massive power capacity. Why? Because AI consumes enormous amounts of electricity. Autonomous driving, data centers, robotics, all of it runs on energy. So Tesla made a critical decision. Instead of buying energy, they're producing it. Now let's look at chips. Tesla is moving toward its own semiconductor manufacturing because AI at scale is limited by compute. And if you depend on external suppliers, you can't scale fast enough. Think about Optimus, Tesla's humanoid robot. If this goes into mass production, we're talking about hundreds of millions of units over time. That requires an enormous number of chips. So Tesla is solving the bottlenecks in advance: energy, compute, infrastructure, all vertically integrated. Now here's the key question. If everything is ready, why hasn't Tesla already exploded? The answer is simple. The final barrier is still there. Regulation. Technology is ready. Infrastructure is ready. Demand is forming, but society hasn't fully accepted it yet. And this creates a very unique situation because Tesla is not waiting on innovation. It's waiting on permission. And when that permission comes, the transition could be extremely fast. So what happens next? Let's walk through the scenario. First, FSD gets approved in Europe, then adoption accelerates across regions. FSD becomes a major revenue stream, and eventually Robotaxi networks begin operating at scale. At that point, Tesla fundamentally changes from a car company to an AI-driven mobility platform. And that shift is where the real value is created. Now let's briefly look at the stock. Tesla is currently around $370, down about $10 from yesterday. And yes, in the short term, this could look like the start of a downtrend. But zoom out for a second. What we're seeing here is short-term volatility. What we've been discussing today is a long-term structural shift, and those are not the same thing. So here's how I see it. Tesla is not a company that's still building towards something. It's a company that has already built most of it. And now it's standing right before the moment where everything can finally be unleashed. The biggest mistake investors can make right now is underestimating how close that moment is, because once the final barrier falls, the pace of change could surprise a lot of people. If you found this perspective useful, make sure to like the video. And if you want deeper, long-term analysis like this, consider subscribing. I'll continue breaking down Tesla, not just as news, but as a strategy, a system, and a future platform. Thanks for watching, and let's keep thinking long-term. Before we wrap up, let me take a moment to introduce myself. I drive a Tesla Model Y, and at home, I've installed a Tesla Powerwall, so I actually charge my car with solar energy. I truly believe Tesla is shaping the future, and that's why I share the latest news and insights here on this channel. I'm from Japan, but I want to connect with Tesla fans all around the world. That's why I also create an English version of my videos. YouTube now lets you switch the audio into your own language, so you can enjoy it in whatever language you prefer. Most of all, I'd love to connect with Tesla fans everywhere so we can support Tesla together. I also share updates on X, so feel free to follow me there and let's connect. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel. I'd really appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.